Hey, welcome to Arts All Over. Today I'm going to be working on the front disc brakes on my 1984 Dodge pickup truck, and I'm going to show you how to break down the brakes, re-grease the center hub, look at the bearings, reinstall all this with the new parts and put her back together. Two items I need to mention before we get too far. You're going to need some kind of hand cleaner for your hands, and you're going to need a rag, and you might need like 2 or 3 or 4 rags, or you're going to need some paper towels because the grease is going to get messy, your hands are going to get dirty. This ain't a job for sissies, I'll tell you that right now. So keep that in mind if you expect to do a brake job. And change the wheel bearing grease and inspect your wheel bearings for your front end. These are all the tools you're going to need. You're going to need a screwdriver, you're going to need a wire brush, a hammer, you're going to need your channel locks, 1/2-inch wrench, a pair of pliers, needle nose, and you're going to need this clamp here so you can collapse your brake caliper piston. And of course you need your lug wrench to remove the lug nuts off the tire to remove the tire. I've already done that for you, so you don't have to do that. Of course I'm the only one doing it, so that would have been me. So to the next stage of this operation. Now I've already moved the tire, jacked it up with a jack. My recommendation is to use a jack stand for safety. But I am a professional, so I am not going through that stage because I'm relying on my jack that I have. But you're going to need your 1/2-inch wrench to remove this top bolt for the plate here that holds the caliper in place, and the bottom bolt down here that has the other bolt for the plate to hold the caliper in place. Once we get that removed, we're going to remove the brake pads, collapse the wheel, the brake piston, and then we can install the new brake pads in place. Once we wire brush anything we think it has some rust on there that needs to be removed so it doesn't cut the disc brake piston. Also going to make sure that we have the right wrench for the bleeder screw. It's usually either 3/8 or 7/16. This looks like a 3/8. Occasionally you come in with a newer car that's got 10mm. Once those items are taken care of, because I usually break that bleeder screw before I remove the caliper, for the reason being it's a lot easier at that point, because you're going to need to collapse the piston. You're going to have to be able to have the brake fluid come through the bleeder screw here so it'll collapse. And also you're going to need that to gravity bleed feed the brakes once you put the new pads on so that you're able to have brake at full pressure. After, also while we're at it, we're going to move this. We're going to pull the wheel out with the hub once the brakes are out of the way, and we're going to clean the hub out, inspect the bearings, put new grease in, retighten it back up, and set it. And that's the stages we'll show you as I go along. Now I remove these 2 retainer plates here for the top and bottom of the caliper. It seems to be what's holding that in. So now this is loose. What I like to do is so I don't confuse them, even in this case you can see they're pretty straightforward, is I will lay them down on the deck down here to make sure that I don't confuse them. Now one other thing before I move the caliper is I'm just going to crack my bleeder line so I don't have to do it later. Sometimes it's stubborn, so you can tell it's been there for a while. Now it looks like this has been in there for a while, so it's probably clogged. I'm going to have to take a little bit of a wire to it and free the inside of the gunk out. It's probably not. Anyhow, there's the bleeder screw, and it's not leaking any fluid, so that means it's Probably clogged a little bit. You can see there's debris inside there. So I'll take a little piece of wire, and I'll clean that there, and I'll clean that out there so that it'll do what it's supposed to actually allow you to bleed the system without removing this all the way, because once you do that, you can't control the flow. And what I generally do too is I just let it hang down. Here's my pads I'm replacing. They're not actually too bad, but I don't have the brake power I did, so that's why I'm replacing them. They've been on this truck since I've owned it for the last 2 years now. So now I'm going to clean this outer cap here of the debris so I don't get dirt in my bearings, if I can help it. The cleaner you are when you're doing this, as you break it down, especially if you don't have a solvent tank to clean all your parts afterwards, the better off you're going to be to keep dirt and debris out once you reassemble everything. Turn the rotor around, the hub. We're going to pop the grease cover. What we're going to do is bend the tang down so we can remove the cotter key pin. And to do that, the best way is to use your pliers. Pull it up and pull it out. So you see there's a cotter key. Cotter key, this has a nut retainer. Right here is to help keep the nut tight in place. So when you reassemble, don't forget to put that back on. And now we're down to the nut where the bearing is. So now we use 2 pliers. We're going to use the channel lock, so we're going to break the nut off. And then we should be able to back the hub out. Here, pull straight, and that's how you remove it. Now what you're looking for on your rotor, you're looking to see if you have any warpage, if you have any heat from the brakes excessively heat, and you can see that it'll be kind of purplish looking, discolored. And you're also looking for any scrapes or damage, because if your brake pads have gone down to the rivets, to the metal, you would end up ruining your rotor surface, and they have to be either resurfaced or replaced. Generally, you can get these for about 30 to 60 bucks. Resurfacing is probably about 20 bucks today. So for you, if they do the brake job, you know, they'll probably resurface it and not charge you. I don't know how they do it anymore. I never use them. I always take care of it. Preventive maintenance is a lot easier than after maintenance. I changed my mind. I'm going to show you how to do it properly, because why you go all this way, right? So what I'm going to do is take my rag, put it over top. I'm going to turn my rotor over. As you see, I'm trying to protect it as best I can. I'm going to take this brass drift and my hammer, and I'm going to tap on the bearing a little bit, and it'll release the seal. Yeah. My. Looks like we got a problem.